This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes, for your half-assed entertainment news with no bullshit, with our hosts, the Baroness and Bear Fiorda, only on Talk 4 Media.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes. I am your yellow host because Bear keeps messing with the color. And we are on with my co-host.
Beautiful.
And we are on with my co-host that we cannot make the screen or color any more pink saturated because he already looks like a raspberry. Bear Fiorda.
I don't actually. It's fun fact about your buddy Bear. I do not tan. I do not get any kind of awesome bronze color in the sun. I get more pink for a period of time, then I shed that pink off and I go back to my base layer pink. Gotta
I
love
am
the
an
skin
incredibly
complexion.
pink person and I look sallow. The yellow tint over this is absurd and it's crooked. On top of it, the camera is crooked. The screen is yellow.
Hold on. I'm analyzing it right now.
And it's too far right. So Bear,
maybe too far right.
Yeah, it's too far right. It's crooked. And it's yellow. Bear is very excited. Now, that said, that is not the camera's fault. That is a technical user.
That's a user error.
He's put together his new. We work with Blackmagic, so he put together the new camera, and this is the result.
This is not.
I would not like you to hold this as an example of Blackmagic's
I wouldn't
work.
even have dropped their name until we got it down right. It's okay. It's not their fault. It's mine. Aside from the camera critiquing, what's in the news today?
In the news today, there is a podcast with a crooked screen and
for
yellow
God's sake,
contrast.
you give me the tablet if you don't want to say it.
Sydney Sweeney put out a good press event to make herself look better after the audience turned against her. So she was helping people with the Spokane wildfires. Now, that said, I have no problem with celebrities using their celebrity for good.
Of course.
I think that is a wonderful thing. She's just gotten so much negative and backlash lately that it's nice that she's doing good things to try and win back people's good graces.
Personally, I think her doing the whole, not that I agree with her, but the whole like good genes ad was probably in the long term wise because it got her more opportunities, more fame. You know what I mean? It got her a lot of hate for being potentially
you're
racist,
supposed to
but
look at
still.
the camera when you speak.
I'm speaking to you and the camera. Don't worry about it.
But you keep
Hi,
looking at the
guys.
screen.
That's force of habit. I do keep looking. If you guys see me looking down here, it's because our camera used to be on the computer. So I'm getting used to looking up a little bit higher now.
He's
yeah, I
looking
think
at
it was
himself.
probably.
That's all he wants to do.
You know it. I think it was a good idea. Like it got her more fame. I hate how it went down. I hate that that's the message they went with, and of course it came off very racist.
I'm waving to the other
got her
cameras
more
we have to
attention,
decide.
you know.
Yeah,
And she was basically nobody on the show. She was a secondary character.
Well, when the lead is Zendaya, you are a nobody.
Everyone's a secondary character, right?
But realistically, that said, I will say I have no problem with her. I think she's just another actress doing everything she can to get attention, which is fine. We're doing a promotional thing about punching children for Bears, so.
Well, we're not actually punching them, but
yes, we are.
Anything I go to explain, you're gonna make it sound worse. So I need you to explain it to them.
Oh, I tell everyone that Bear gets into his little tiny underwear and wrestles with men while smearing Vaseline on himself.
Cage fighting, yes. So I guess as long as you guys understand that's the direction we're going in, I guess I'm okay to say it. Part of the book we're putting together is going to help promote and help us build more nonprofit free MMAs to teach people in children martial arts. So yeah, some kids are going to get hit
If you
in the
buy a
face,
book,
but...
for every book you buy, a child gets punched in the face.
And the book is good for you too because it's a lot of motivational tips and tutorials on how to make it through life today as a modern young man.
We were just talking about with Bear's publisher today. So I guess Andrew Tate did one thing well. He pissed off Bear, so Bear is now writing books.
Well, I'm just trying to better. We're all trying to better the world. Who am I
No,
kidding?
we're not. I'm
just...
trying to make money.
And what would you do
And
with
I'm
that
very
money? What were you gonna
good
do with that
at
money?
making money.
After
Buy
you make
things.
Okay, so
I help commerce.
you're
Like, are
stimulating
you
the
trying?
economy.
Are
Yeah,
you
I'm trying to make it better.
spin
Yes,
this
I am
as if
trying
I'm
to
a
spin.
better person
You
than
are
I am?
stimulating the economy right now. Yes.
There
Absolutely.
is a part I think Bear is a really good person. So there is a
Thank
part
you.
of him that is deeply bothered by the fact that I'm not. Like,
Wow.
it's not in a bad way, just in a, you do so much to help so many people. And I think, and you try and put such a good spin on me. And I look at,
Someone's gotta.
that's the point. I'm watching Kimberly crawl.
Yeah,
What are you
our-
doing
our-
in the
our
background? She's
intern
trying to
thing
get
is
a book.
Kicking her light
Ah.
around.
So I think there is I think there's a part of you that's deeply bothered by who I am as a human.
Well, I love you, so I want only the best parts of you to shine.
So why do you love me if you know that I am money driven?
There could be money. You can be money driven all you want. It doesn't mean like you're a bad person.
I'm calling bullshit. You give all your money away.
But that doesn't mean I'm a bad person.
No, it makes you annoying.
What else is relevant in the news this week?
You could be buying Dior purses and diamonds.
Yes, and I'm sure there are many women out there who would agree that their man could be buying them more Dior purses and
Bear
diamonds.
gave someone the ick at the MMA awards. It was fantastic. We will tell that story. So Sydney Sweeney helped people in the Spokane wildfires to make herself
Good.
look like a better person than
Good.
she is.
Well,
Perez Hilton tried to off himself.
again. I said again. Perez Hilton, that's the brother, right? That's the.
No, Perez Hilton
Who's Perez then?
he's like a guy that talks about Hollywood news. He's had some mental illness issues. It looks like he tried to off himself and ended up in the hospital. The PFL, with the help of Jake the Raper Paul, is trying to get ahead of the UFC, and they're doing a pretty damn good job.
Well, the PFL
And
doesn't
then-
really exist anymore, though. They were merged with the
but
MVP.
it's still being called the PFL, and it's really doing a hard media push.
Yeah, it's kind of like
this
when they
week-
took over or bought Bellator. They're going to
Ex-
keep it going for a little bit and slowly phase it out.
No, they seem to be phasing out MVP, actually.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
That doesn't
but
make any
you'll
sense.
see, you'll see.
Okay.
So and then Usman just won the PFL first round very, very quickly, which makes him the most famous free agent in the world.
Yeah, good for him. You
I
said his
don't
name
know-
perfectly.
I don't know how to pronounce this.
I almost want to walk you through it, but I don't have 30 hours, so I'm going to say Nurmagomedov for you.
Thank you.
That's okay. You're welcome. I absolutely. Can I
You talk about him a lot.
can I drop the other Nurmagomedov? Yes, that's Habib. Can I drop back to something you said earlier with you said Perez Hilton? Who's Paris Hilton?
Paris Hilton is a socialite and reality star from the early 2000s who was incredibly demonized and played the dumb blonde role into making a fortune. She was born
Okay.
famous, part of the Hilton Hotel empire.
So I know who that is.
Perez Hilton
Yes.
is a stage name for a guy that does celebrity commentary.
Oh, okay. Who's Paris Hilton's brother?
I don't know if does Paris Hilton have a brother? Yes, she does.
Yeah, she does.
She does. Yeah, he's nobody.
But I'm trying to remember his name now, because I swear to God, that was Perez
If you can
Hilton.
no,
Tell us
it's
the name
not.
of
If
Paris
you can
Hilton's
tell us
brother.
Paris Hilton's brother's name. I know she has a sister, Nikki Hilton, who married into the Rothschilds family. I don't know if she
Oh,
has a
good for
brother.
her.
I know. If you're going to
They could
marry
marry into
anyone,
any family at
marry
all.
a
Marry a
Rothschild.
Rothschild. Yeah.
So the sister married into the Rothschild
Mm.
family. But I don't know if Paris Hilton has a brother. Tell me, if you would like to win a ride at Off-Road Rentals in Palm Springs, California, tell me, does Paris Hilton have a brother? Because I do not know. Lovely woman, by the way. Very sweet. Very funny.
Got it. I'm being told to check our mic volume and settings. Okay. They can't hear Summer. That's interesting. Can I see your... Well, you're active. Let me check back
Did
here.
he
Guys,
break
we're having
it?
so
Can you
many
hear me
technical
now?
difficulties today. I'm
This is
sorry.
what happens when you play with stuff. Good. The entire first half of the show. Can you hear me at all, or am I just like
Yeah, I mean,
faded out?
I've got sound to you perfectly on my end.
Can you hear me now? Welcome to Behind the Scenes, where we fix the settings because Bear wants to play with stuff he doesn't know how to use.
Which is funny, 'cause I've had
Can
the
you
mic
hear
thing
me
dialed in
now?
for months now. But
Can you hear me now?
we're gonna keep asking that until you write
It's a Verizon ad.
We're gonna keep asking until you write back to us, our wonderful sound engineer. If you guys missed it, we had him on last week for the show. Beautiful, funny, and he fixes a lot of our problems like this one. So I'm hoping that we're able to adjust this one
Dakota
as well.
Dicka Joffa Shuff.
Do I need to say this one for you too?
Yeah,
There's not even a J in that name.
I don't know.
Dakota DeChiva.
Yeah, is returned after a layoff in the UFC, I guess. So, do you notice we're talking more about the UFC?
That's because they're getting more and more.
I mean, the PFL than the UFC.
well, they're more in the
Young people space.
I would say, yeah, they're kind of more relevant in this moment. People are more upset at the UFC because of their poor practices.
Alexis, I need to speak with the PFL. Is our guy still there? Find us a new guy at the PFL. So I need to speak with the PR department from the PFL. I think we know the owner of the PFL. I'll speak with him. Did you fix the microphone?
I am sincerely trying right now.
Can I be heard at all, or am I just wasting my time?
I don't think you're wasting your time.
Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, turns 45, looks 65, and wears a paper crown.
They want me to raise your audio, so hang on, folks at home. There, let's try that.
This is behind the scenes, where Bear gives us new cameras, new microphones, top of the line everything, and can use none of it.
Like I said, we've had this dialed. You can ask our sound engineer next time we have him on the show. I swear, the audio has been dialed in for a while. Better.
I don't believe you.
Hey, how are you holding that? Oh, okay. For a second, I thought you had it upside down. That would have been funny. No, unfortunately, there is no other culprit here, but I guess my setup this time.
Now, if you would like to date Bear, because he is soon to be single, if he keeps messing with the technology on this show, please write in and you can win a free ride at Off-Road Rentals in Palm Springs, California.
What? You don't even have to answer. Screw. You don't even have to tell us who Perez Hilton is or who Paris Hilton's brother is anymore. Just say that you want to take me off the Baroness's hands.
It's not a high bar.
No, I guess not in general. It's not.
And he didn't turn his phone off. Bear is acing it today.
The problem with the
he
phone...
has no. He didn't turn his phone off. He can't use the microphone, and we are jaundiced. But he can't turn down the yellow because he is naturally so pink that turning down the yellow
Our sound
is
engineer wrote us a message, very professional.
that we cannot do that. I am loving how today is being handled.
I have to say, with the phone thing, the iClouds are connected, so I don't know how to get
Yes,
the computer.
you've had an excuse for everything. You've had an
play the
excuse
sound
so
of my
far.
mic,
So far.
even when my phone is off.
And you're wearing pajama pants
I
with
am
a hole
always
in the
wearing
front
pajama
with no
pants.
underwear.
There is no hole in my pajama pants.
No, it's a gap and no underwear.
A gap?
Yeah, put your leg down. There is a camera there.
Where would the gap? Well, yeah,
You
start
can
playing
see.
with
You
it.
can see in it.
Guys, remember the show is 18 plus.
I'd like to remember, and I'd like to remind you, we have lives going on the side. So he's sitting there putting his leg up. You're doing amazing.
To be fair, they couldn't see that. That was you picking on me.
No, it wasn't.
I will go back through the history of those live
There
streams.
is. I can see from where I was sitting.
You're still sitting there.
Yeah, you've moved your shirt now.
All right, well, maybe the shirt's doing more work than it needs to.
Okay, let me give you a wrap up of the beginning of the show.
Oh, no, we don't need a
I
wrap
cannot
up.
pronounce.
We have a
no,
wonderful,
magnum.
we have our wonderful guests on. We don't want to do a
we
wrap
cannot
up.
pronounce. I cannot pronounce names. Bear
It's just
cannot
Russian
make a
names
work.
for
Cannot
you.
make a microphone. My closest friends are from Russia, and
yet
I
you
cannot
can't
pronounce
say
a
their
damn
name,
thing.
Apparently.
Bear has made our cameras yellow. Microphones not work. Himself an electric shade of pink, and is apparently flashing the camera. Who's our
Hey,
guest today?
We don't call it behind the scenes for nothing, right, folks?
That is not supposed to happen.
All the errors that happen in front of you guys.
There is too much penis in the show today. In a show
Some
there
people
should be
would
no
argue there
penis.
may not be enough.
Compared to what?
0.
0 is the correct amount of penis to be shown on a show.
What show? What show are we talking about? That definitely depends. Hold on. There are some people who come
I'd like to
certain
apologize
shows
to the
only
live
watch that.
streams BTS, and I think they're both BTS. One's just on.
One's Facebook, one's Instagram. Yeah.
I'd like to apologize to the BTS live streams for the amount of penis. And I'd like to
They're-
apologize to.
They didn't see it.
I'd like to apologize to YouTube and our radio station for the fact that there is now a conversation about Bear's penis, because for some reason he has a brand new camera that he cannot get the color right on. He has microphones he cannot get the sound right on, and he has pants that he does not know how to use.
God, can you say more things that were relevant like 5 minutes? It was forever ago these problems existed, and you keep bringing them up.
Would you like a list?
No, I like to bring on our guests for today.
Fabulous. Hopefully I can pawn you off on them.
Welcome to the show, Eugenia and Anya. Welcome, guys. How you doing today?
Hey guys.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the show. We've had a very weird morning. I hope you are having a better day than we are.
been a weird morning here too, but all good.
Ooh, all right,
Perfect.
not alone.
Now I'm going to ask you guys, can you each tell the audience a little bit about yourself? And we'll start there and then we'll go into some questions.
Anya, you want to go first?
Sure. Hey guys, my name is Anya Marcon. I'm a model, entrepreneur, author, and mom, doing a bunch of things.
Yeah.
And I'm another weird Russian. I'm Eugenia Kuzmina, and I'm so excited. I met Anya this year. I'm excited to be part of her project, a book project. She can probably tell more a little bit about it. And I'm a comedian and actor, not a spy, and what else? And a mom as well.
I have a friend from Russia named Yana who was literally arrested as a Russian spy. She is the only survivor of thallium poisoning in the world. She was in Russia. Russia tried to arrest her. America tried to arrest her because her and her mom split a cup of coffee and they got thallium poisoning. And the American government assumed she had to be a spy. The Russian government assumed she had to be a spy. They're trying to figure out which side she's spying for. And of course, she manages models and actors and circuses. So they assume this is a great cover for a spy. Her argument was they poisoned someone important yesterday. This is the result of a lazy dishwasher. If someone wanted me dead, I'd be dead.
Oh my gosh, just another Friday.
That said, she still will not go back to Eastern Europe when we have to go there for work. She's not risking it. She's like, what if they really did want to poison me? So
they're really after her.
Yeah, they're really after her. I love that you start with the not a spy. Is that really something that people think?
Anya, you want to elaborate on that?
I'm Russian myself. My mother gets it more than I do because she worked in translation and for the government, and
so
she
the
gets
perfect job to be a spy.
Yeah, but the way that she acts, it's like she can't hold a secret. Like, this woman can definitely not be a spy.
Yeah,
I like
makes
that.
Sense. I wanted to ask about.
I do want to know where the Russian spy.
You want to talk more
I
about
want to
Russian
know.
spies
I
right now?
want to know where the stereotype came from. I mean, Hollywood, yeah, but I wonder where. Well, I know it's a Cold War stereotype. Okay, we'll come back to the spy thing. I want to hear about the book. Let's do book then spy.
You guys are talking about being an author, being part of a project. What is the project, guys?
So the project is called Model Life, and I didn't write the book. There's other women like Eugenia that have written their own chapters. And the goal is to really just have, these incredible women tell their stories from behind the client's lens, to feel seen, heard, valued, and just get their own perspective out there. So it's a platform to really give them a voice and have a different perspective. And, it's an honor for me to read these, 22 stories where it's all a thread of resilience, reinvention, and all these incredible women doing awesome things that actually don't have a ton to do with modeling behind the scenes. So
Eugenia is one of the funniest humans I've ever met in my life. Please tell me her chapter is funny. Please tell me her humor's in it.
So Eugenia is the opening chapter of the whole book.
Yep.
The perfect placement, and she is one of the funniest humans. I've had the honor of seeing her perform her comedy last time I was in LA, and I was absolutely dying. Her chapter is so punchy. It just hooks you in the very first couple lines, and you just can't stop reading it. And
what publishing house are you guys going through?
Pardon?
What publishing house are you guys going through?
Going through an independent publisher.
Nice.
That's always good.
I have to say, about Anya, one thing. Sorry, guys. When it's like 50 people on the same thing, right? I was like, I hate interrupting, but I just want to say, Anya, thank you so much. You're such an inspiration yourself, and I think you have such an interesting story. Because modeling seems very glamorous and fun, as you guys know, and especially now with all the social media and mental health and things like that. It just looks like we all have perfect lives, which is absolutely not true. And I think this book just brings all the stories, especially for people who are working mothers, no matter what you do. We did connect through Instagram, but you mentioned your story and going through resilience. I think it's so inspirational just to see that it's not just the pictures. And sometimes these days you don't even know. There's like models who are AI. I was watching this girl.
I hate the AI. I'm a huge believer, and I mean no offense. Like I look like I ate the older version of myself, but I was an underwear model, and it was horrible. I became a producer because that's easier. Modeling sucks. And no offense, to you guys. Modeling sucks. It's hard, and people don't realize the skill set necessary. You have to have the ability to sell yourself. You have to have the ability to interact with an audience. You have to have the ability to carry another person's product, and the level of resilience and starvation required, just from personal experience. Not a fan. Very difficult job. Why modeling? I mean, it's a for those that know, it's a really freaking hard, difficult, miserable job. For those that don't, it's not what you see on Instagram. That's the best way to put it. And I'm not a big believer that I don't love this, social media. No offense to you. I know you've walked in Fashion Week, but they keep taking people off social media because they have a following and making them models. Actual models back in the day, supermodels, models like you ladies, models like the lovely women that I used to work with are a very different thing. It is a miserable job. Why do that to yourself?
Well, I think Eugenia is the better equipped for this because she killed it. I mean, she was the original muse for, Yves Saint Laurent himself, and walked for every major designer and campaign. So, from my end, I'm just a naturally very curious person. I love to get to know people. And as I started doing more modeling, I'm always kind of like, well, what's this person really like? You see this one frame that was taken for a campaign, right? And there's sometimes days behind this one frame that you see, days of work. You don't know what's going on. And then who is this person that, it took them to this point? And Eugenia has such an interesting, remarkable story of how she got to the level of success and reinvention that she did. But that was sort of a jumping off point for me, is just wanting to learn more about the person behind the frame, and models specifically, because it's an industry that I'm in. I'm curious, you see Instagram, I'm like, the first thing I think is like, I want to learn more about who this person actually is, and the sense of, yeah.
Anya comes from, I know with a lot of people on it, there's lag, so we're all talking over each other. Anya comes from the point in time, what was called the Russian doll era of modeling.
Anya or Eugenia?
Eugenia, sorry, Anya. Eugenia comes from, I'm now making mistakes. Eugenia comes from the Russian doll era, when the models on the runway were, that you were huge. I mean, you were everywhere. Is it difficult now to watch the transition to AI models, to see that change?
Well, I think that's why Anya's book is so important, and like, it's amazing. I let you guys talk because I'll have to leave soon, but it's amazing the stories behind, because they're human stories, right? And we connect to the imperfections, I think, more than ever, actually, because this perfect plaster thing is really frustrating because there's no connection, there's no like humanity. I think we strive into stories and like resilience and overcoming things, and that's how we connect as humans. I think we still need that. So, it is kind of frustrating because it is very calculated. Some of the accounts, they all kind of have a similar aesthetic, and there's nothing unique about it. And there's no allowing of like real process of living a life. We live a life and you have experiences, and that's the beauty of it.
They're also stealing from you. I didn't do it long enough, I don't count, but they're stealing. They're taking your body, they're taking the body of other women in that industry and creating these amalgamations. It's really problematic. And when you remove, you look at Cindy Crawford, you remove that mole, she's not Cindy Crawford. Those human imperfections are what makes somebody magnetic. And it's taking a watered down version and wrecking it. Sorry, that's just personal opinion.
That's so true. Well, guys, I have to go on set, but I'll let you talk, and I can't wait to learn Annie's story more because I think she has a lot to say. So I love you. Have a beautiful day.
I'll talk to you
see
soon,
next time,
Eugenia.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Now, with the
I adore Eugenia. So I got to tell you, it's flipping that around. I've known Eugenia for a long time. Wonderful, wonderful woman. She speaks very, very highly of you, which to me, anyone she likes, I automatically like. How did you get into modeling?
So I got into modeling seriously a bit later in life. And I modeled a bit when I was younger, just through living in New York and
I
being.
love you say later in life. You look like you're 12.
Thank you. But I actually have an almost 2-year-old. So I'm over 30. And I got into it later in life more seriously. So
that's fair.
It's for those in the audience, most models start at 12, 13, and you're at your height by 16, 18. So to
Yeah.
the normal world, 30 is when you should be hitting your stride. And in the modeling world, that is actually very, very rare.
Retirement. Exactly.
Mhm. That is like, I think I've modeled for Victoria. I was 16 when I modeled for them, 15, 16.
Wow.
So it is very, it is very much they do go after teenagers because the body's not formed. It sounds terrible, but the clothes lay better, the body's not formed. So for you to do that, going in at this age, that does make you the exception, which means you are exceptionally talented.
Well, thank you so much. I don't know about that, but I was just, kind of right place, right time, and, took the opportunity. And I want to show other people that you don't have to be afraid. You could just go ahead and do the thing and not worry about other people's opinions because they're going to have them no matter what. And like you mentioned, the era of the Russian doll, it's different now. There's different representation, there's different verticals, different avenues, and, a platform for, other things essentially.
Oh,
and
because we went through the transitional. We had the Brazilian era, we had the Russian doll era, we had the supermodel. Everything went in stages, and now it's a little bit of everything. It's very, very different. And what makes people stand out, we have a model with vitiligo, and that makes her striking. That's why I hate the AI stuff, because everyone just looks meh.
Yeah, and that's, the purpose of the book is really to show a good representation of what the modeling industry looks like right now. So I have women of all demographics and ages, so women that are younger starting out, but that have been doing this since they're 14, right? And then women that are at different stages in their careers and have had families and are still doing it and have entered into different sort of verticals and have been through the ups and downs of the transitions. And that was very important, for me to show the audience of what, it looks like right now with the younger demographic. And then, women at other stages of their careers that have, hit their stride and have been through life and can really talk about it.
So sorry, I tried to talk over you guys. I did actually have another question about the book, but first I want to touch on something you guys said right now regarding your age and jumping into modeling a little later in life. I think that's fantastic. A lot of people right now probably have this conception that you have to be that super young and have this super kind of immature physique to succeed in modeling. But you're showcasing right now that you can be immature, you can be a little bit older, you can really be in your prime, like literally as a human, and still be on these front pages, which I think is really important, especially as we start to get evolve into what modeling more so is now today versus back in the 90s.
I like what you're doing by telling the stories. I think people they see that glossy picture and they realize that's the smallest part. I left because I do not have the ability to pretend to like people I don't. In front of the camera was the worst place for me. I couldn't do the schmoozing. I couldn't do I couldn't be nice. So the necessary interactions to build your brand, I was not capable of. Very good producer, very good at firing people, very good at frightening people, not good at that. So I think people don't realize how much really goes into this kind of career. Do you go into the relationship building, into how these women built themselves?
No, exactly. And I love how you touched on that a little bit earlier about it actually being a hard career. And that's part of why the project was important to me, is because I feel like I've seen there's a lot of misconceptions, right? Like, oh, supermodel, she's pretty and, she has the body and she has the campaigns, but it is grueling work. What people don't see is, fashion week, right? Like if you don't sleep, you're working, 12-hour days, hotel, eat, do it if you get to eat, if you're not tired enough.
Yeah.
Wake up and do it all again, right? And then you're competing against other girls that are equally as beautiful and younger and all these different things. And then it comes down to the soft skills, like you talked about, the relationship building and like all the, the schmoozing and right place, right time. And
it's working out 6 hours a day. It's promoting yourself. It's going from event to event to meet the people that you need to meet. It's marketing yourself. It's getting yourself in the right place, because an underwear model is a different body than a sports model is different than a high fashion model is different. So it's finding that now, and a print model, whole different thing. So it's finding where you fit, because they're not going to, they tried to get me to do high, I have a butt. I was great as an underwear model. You try and get me I was 5'8", almost just under 5'9", 97 pounds, and they couldn't get my butt small enough to fit in the pants for high fashion. But I was a great underwear model.
How long do you think this is actually probably for both of you, because you guys are the models here. How long do you think that concept is going to last? We've seen on the runway women of all different sizes, shapes in the underwear modeling.
Well, it's about
today,
showing off the clothes.
Right.
So essentially, I hate Tess Holliday. Sorry, I'm going to say this. I am a huge fan of plus size modeling. I think that's wonderful. I think when you get to Tess Holliday, I have a serious problem. The same as I have a problem with the girls that really push the very, very skinny. I think that can be very dangerous on either extreme. I don't want to see a woman that's 350 pounds and 5'5" on a runway, and I don't want to see a woman that is. I was not healthy at 5'9" and 97 pounds. That was not good. There's no part of that was good. I love how I see the models now, where you see women like yourself who are eating, exercising, clean eating, and putting that out there for people to see. That is very different than it was, back in the day for Kate Moss, where it was, liquor and cocaine. It's a very different lifestyle.
Yeah, it is. And it's easy, especially at a young age, to get sucked into that lifestyle in all the big cities. Right. And that comes with sort of the schmoozing and then being impressionable and not having someone to necessarily back you. A lot of these women have, come from different countries, often with no supervision, and the glitz and glamour is easy to get sucked into. Right. So in the book, I have these stories. I have the stories of the girls that got signed to IMG at, one of the youngest people to get signed to IMG, and then issues around the food and around all these different things that come up because you're growing, right? Like your hips get bigger, like you're 14, like it's a normal process. And then trying to, fit women into this category of, well, your hips are getting bigger. It's like, no shit, I'm getting older. Like,
what do you want me to do?
Yeah, it's
I'm becoming a woman.
That's it. Now, I will say, I do have to give a shout out to Elite Models, and I will give a shout out to Victoria's Secret. They would take us to events and they would take us away from events, and we had handlers. They watched the girls now, adults not as much, but any girl underage very thoroughly. You couldn't move an inch. They actually protected you. Now, this is, 2000s, so could be different.
But even then, it could be so subjective in terms of just who. And this is what it's all about, is the relationships, right? Like,
true.
For me personally, I would rather be at an agency where I have a great agent with the relationship where, we can get on the phone, they manage you, like they promote you as much as, give guidance. And it's a case by case thing. It's a personality fit, it's that vibe, it's that energy you get, right? It's like the biggest name in the world can be great, but if you're not working and you don't have that rapport, it's like, where's the actual long-term value here, right?
You're completely right. One of the best pieces of advice I got was from Brad Gray over at Paramount, and his response was, if you're at the biggest agency in the world, you can be at CAA, you could be at William Morris, but your agent sucks, your career is over. It's better to have the smallest agent at the biggest agency. It's better to have the person that will put the time into you and the person that needs you to eat. Then they will make sure you work. You don't want the guy that has Tom Cruise, because you're never going to be his priority.
No.
That's fair.
But if he needs you to eat, you will work.
with this book that we have coming out, I was thinking about this earlier. Who is like the target audience, and what do you want them to take away from these stories?
So it's a largely women's media, right? But I think it can be applied to so many different people because it just comes down to what you touched on earlier, and like what Eugenia touched on, is the humanity of all of it, right? It's like you can be this, beautiful supermodel, but it's all that glitters isn't gold, right? And it's like you can be beautiful and you can go through, you know, ups and downs and reinvention and, have multiple interests and have gone through really hard stuff and kind of come out on top. And, I've been through a lot of stuff that many of, other models have. And it's not applicable to models. It's applicable to any woman who's struggling with something. And if I can help one person, just kind of have the courage to reinvent themselves, have the courage to step forward about something and say, hey, like me too, and reach out. I've already had women reach out to me. And that's just the most beautiful thing, is being able to be that comfort that, I've been through that too, and just not be afraid to put it all out on the table on their own terms. Then the audience is really anyone. The audience could be obviously women. It could be young girls looking to get into the industry and wanting to hear the reality of it and know that they can reach out to each of these models as well, because it's very accessible. Their information is there. And I think any one of them, I've interviewed over 120 models for this project personally. I am a working model. I am building a brand. I have a husband. I have a baby. I had to be very interested in each and every single person that I would spend an hour talking to. So the women that made the book are incredibly unique with their stories and what they've done. And, I think a lot of people are going to be touched by it.
Did you interview, this is going to sound terrible, did you interview the women that didn't make it? Because, we look at Eugenia, that's somebody that's done very well in the modeling industry. And that's not always the case. That's the exception, not the rule. Most people that get into this is not a future for them. This is something they'll do for a minute and maybe get a job or two, but it is incredibly competitive. It is incredibly hard. And when you do it, it takes over your life. Did you talk to women who have pulled back or not succeeded as well?
Yeah, I've definitely talked to women and what I noticed is all the women who made it, right? Like Eugenia and like other women in the book, even the most successful ones are the most relentless. They are the most relentless. They do not miss a follow-up. They always are on it. They're always reaching out. They're always promoting themselves and, promoting other people as well. And the people that, in some models, they're all beautiful, but there's nothing that really separates them from others except the work ethic, right? And the ability to kind of brush things off and not take things too personally, right? That's life. And the women who haven't made it are the ones that, they'll try once or twice, they hear a no, and they're like, oh, okay. And
would you say that?
Well, I think that's why when people talk about modeling being hard work, they're like, no, it's not. They're missing the hard work is the relentlessness. It's the letting it permeate every aspect of your life. Every decision is made towards this one end goal. It really is. No, it is not on your feet, 12 hours a day at a factory. It's very, very different. But it is a very, both physically and mentally taxing job.
Would you say that with that, as far as people who make it and don't, it's more important to have something that separates you from the rest, something iconic or special to you, be it a look or a type of walk or how you speak, or how, as you guys said, relentless, how persistent you are in achieving that goal of being the model? What is more valuable in the industry?
I love that question. That's such a good question. And, I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think that one can support the other and vice versa, but they could also stand completely independent. Of course, there's some women where you have such a distinctive look or walk that just, blows out of the water, of course, but it's not the majority, right? That'll be the, couple percent that maybe got discovered in a small town and, random country and blew up. And I have those stories. I do have those fairy tale stories. And then I have the stories of, you know, the woman who, you know, tried at every agency and was kind of mid-sized and not in like the right sort of high fashion or like plus size, and like where do you go from there? So creating your own niche, right? Like forging your own path. As you mentioned, Baroness, it's, you know, finding your niche and not having someone necessarily define it for you. And that takes a lot of, you know, inner, not even resilience, but just knowing of yourself, and I think confidence.
I think you can walk like Shalom, but if nobody sees that walk, what difference does it make?
Right. It's like, do you hear the tree falling in the forest?
Exactly that. It's you can, like, Shalom Hollow, best walk as far as I'm concerned in the history of modeling. Absolutely incredible. If you never saw her, if she didn't, and that is a woman that kicked down every door, then you've got Naomi Campbell, 50, still modeling. Well, 60 almost. Still modeling, absolutely gorgeous.
With the young women who are probably going to read this book, because I imagine the audience is likely not going to be those who are maybe figuring themselves too old or in close to retirement or really set into a job, but those who are really aspiring to make it in this industry or younger, but don't have the body type, right? You just mentioned how you're either skinny or you fit a certain aesthetic or you're plus size, but there's plenty of women who are in those in-between kind of levels who would have to carve out a niche for themselves. What would you tell those women who are trying to make it into modeling? What do they have to do?
So I love that you brought that up, because I have the perfect example who's in my book, and she's a girlfriend of mine. Her name is Charlotte Reardon, and she has carved out a niche where she is literally the mid-size model, not plus size, not sample runway size, but she got into the fit modeling. And guess what? This woman is relentless though, and she's savvy, right? It's having that sort of savvy business acumen that I think gets you far, which, you know, is what got me kind of far. I come from a very gritty corporate world where, you know, eat or be in and understand corporate speak and understand how deals are structured, right? Putting together these different types of things.
It's bloody important to know business. People really miss that. When you're signing these contracts and you're doing it all over the world, the laws are different everywhere. Having that business acumen is incredibly important.
And that's going back to your question, Bear, about sort of the distinctive look or the relentlessness. I think that ties into the relentlessness. It's having the, you know, curiosity to learn more about how a contract is structured, where that can hurt you, where that can benefit you, and understanding red lines, right? That these agencies they work for you ultimately. You're the one bringing them in money, vice versa. So structuring it in a way where, yes, it's mutually beneficial, but you're not selling your soul, right?
Okay.
So back to your question about the midsize, I have two women like that, Charlotte and Julia, who relentlessly pursued all the agencies. One woman went to open calls, the same agencies for like 2 months that kept saying no. Finally, they said yes. And she ended up making the most money within fit modeling, Charlotte, enough money to go buy homes and then flip them and make real money. So wow. I think, and she drove her own narrative, right? And no one's going to advocate harder for you than yourself, I think, with the right team. And it's important for women to realize that and have that sort of confidence, especially in today's world.
Well, I think it's important for people, and you hit the nail on the head. I think it's important to look at business as business. Whatever business you're in now, you're in the business of marketing yourself. If you're a cobbler, you need to sell it on social media. If you're modeling, you need to sell it on social media. I can turn around and complain all I want and say, well, I don't love these models coming off of Instagram versus this. You have to have your social media. That's the most important thing. When I sell a film now or a television show, first thing they ask me are, what are the numbers? What numbers do your stars have? So social media is the most important thing now in building. Even fashion week, we were talking to the people we work with at New York Fashion Week and LA Fashion Week and Paris. They want the models with the following. That is now the number one requirement because that gets it sold. I get that. Now, you said it phenomenally when you said carve out a niche for yourself. I am picking on Tess Holliday. I'm not a Tess Holliday fan. You know, real problem, but she made a name for herself. She made a niche for herself in a place there was no place. She's what, 5'3", 300 pounds and covered in tattoos. Not exactly what you would expect from a model,
Certainly not.
but she made a
Well,
fortune.
maybe now we do.
No.
That's how the world changes, right? I'm sure there are plenty of women who see that and now expect that to be the norm. And I can't really, I don't know, there's really no argument for that.
I will argue.
You'll argue about it.
But it's sort of to your point, Bear, where you're like something so distinctive. We don't see that. And if someone can package and sell themselves properly, there you go. Right?
So would you say it's less about a look and more about your ability to promote yourself? Because women, like, all different models, look, guys too, especially guys sometimes have very shocking features, but you throw them out in the regular world and people look at them like, oh, that guy's kind of interesting looking, isn't he? Right? But on the modeling runway or in the page or the papers, whatever, they look striking because that's a weird or unique feature about them.
Anya Taylor-Joy eyes.
So exactly right. So is it more about how to say it, more about how you market yourself or more about how you look when it comes to actually being a successful model?
At the end of the day, it is a lot about appearance, right? So there's definitely a lot about appearance, but there's so many different clients and different jobs now that they all kind of look for different things, like someone you see, I was at an agency recently and there's so many people that look very, unusual or just, I would say, not traditional, right? And it's such a case by case thing. I mean, I think there's certain standardized features, for example, and even that's fluctuating, but then that all kind of fits into different little boxes for agencies and clients.
Right. Everyone's got different tastes.
Now, we're getting towards the end of the show. I want to make sure, where can everyone find you on social media? I want to make sure they go follow you.
You can find me at Anya Labanya, which is ANYALABANYA.
Okay, that is
I
really
like
cool.
that.
That is
That's
a
catchy.
very cool name. I like that. Now, we've got, it sounds to me like the book you're putting out is actually very similar to Bear's book, except he's talking about cage fighting. And the premise almost sounds the same. It's mindset and effort. So apparently to become a top model or to punch people for money,
I think both.
it's mindset and effort.
I can imagine they would both require a great amount of just mental fortitude.
Mindset, effort, and having this book, right, that's a compilation of 22 models. I also really want to show solidarity between women and women supporting women in such an industry. I think it's critical where there's so much cattiness and competition out there. There's really room for everyone to succeed. We're all different and there's an avenue for everyone, and I think winning alone, cool, but winning together is just so much bigger. And I think that's what I get the most sort of fulfillment is, seeing everyone come together and support each other and win together.
I think people miss what a sisterhood modeling can be. Actually have never seen much. I've seen it a little bit, but I don't see as much cattiness as there is help and as there is sisterhood in it. One of the best stories years and years and years ago was Naomi Campbell couldn't get work in the 90s. So a friend of hers got her work and now Naomi gets her work. They go back and forth. Great story. I always suggest everyone look it up because it was difficult at the time for black models to get work. Mm. So it was now it's going to drive me crazy. She's one of the top models in the world, and my brain is not doing this.
I think that's one of the really cool things to remember is when you get to a certain stage in any career.
For this, I love AI.
You're gonna have to have help. I don't think you succeed at a certain point without someone in your corner.
Yes.
So it's really good to want to bring people together, or at least try and unite them beforehand, the beginning stage of the career, telling people about the stories of these other models who would probably reference, hey, at some point or another, this other lady or this other person helped me.
Refused
right? And so that way we're not teaching people that they got to do it on their own and they got to cut everyone out of their life.
We're not meant to be alone. We're creatures of connection. And in a world where there's so much social media and scrolling and all this stuff, I think it's so critical to bring that human element and connection back. And I've seen a big push for that across different communities. And that's what this is really about. It's building community and launching into other things like live events where we can grow this community and just really bring the women together and show that to younger aspiring women or women who, like me, was like, can I do this at 30? I'm like, why not? Why can't I? Like, life is about evolution, and evolution is reinvention and personal growth. And the only person at the end of the day stopping yourself is you. So
that's beautiful. I actually, considering that we're towards the end of the show, I think that's a great message to leave off
I was going to
on.
say it was Linda Evangelista. It was driving me crazy.
I
had to go look it up. Yeah, it was a whole thing. It drove me crazy. She refused to go. She basically said, if you hire me, you hire Naomi. That was back in the day. And now Naomi's top in the world. She had some issue after cold sculpting, and Naomi turned around and said, if you want me, you hire Linda.
Good.
So that was the whole thing. I know we're towards the end of the show. Do we have any time left?
I don't believe we do, unfortunately.
Damn. I would like to have you on again, and I'd love to talk about the stories that affected you most in this book. Did you have any that particularly touched you?
Oh my gosh, yes. There's so many incredible ones that I would love to share aside from Eugenia, and I mentioned Charlotte Reardon, but there's definitely some others that are just, I would love to share with you guys and with the world.
That sounds like we'll get you back
so we're
on
going to
the show.
hold you. I'm going to hold you to that. We'll
back
get you back on the show and go through that. Guys, make sure you're following her. By the way, that is the best name. Like Anya Labonia.
It was a high school nickname, guys. I'm like, oh, it's so stayed.
That is really good marketing. When you pick something like that, that is good marketing. I'm always stressing to people, be aware of your media. That is brilliant. Do you model under Anya Labonia?
Just Anya.
You got to model under Anya Labonia. Like, that is such good marketing. If I were your publicist, I'd be losing my mind. That is marketing. That is merch. That is brilliant. That is the next sweat. You know how everyone's wearing those Park sweatshirts? Anya Labonia's better. Like that's perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Shout out the name of the book and where everyone can get it, please.
The name of the book is Model Life. It will be available at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, September 3rd. Along with her
So check out Model Life. Yes. I'll see if I can talk her into coming back on, and we'll talk some more about the book. Thank you very, very much for joining us.
Thank you both so much for having me. It was an honor.
Thank you. And guys, I want to thank you for joining us on Behind the Scenes and apologize again for Bear's bad coloration.
You know what? Someone is going to write in the comments that they like what I did. And you may be the only person to say that, but I appreciate you.
You're pink. In a whole yellow screen,
and
you're pink.
Honestly, you're really white. I'm not going to lie. You got like a yellow tint to yourself, but you're pretty white.
But
it's
I don't
golden,
naturally
in fact.
have.
Gold.
I'm not
Gold
naturally.
is your color.
I'm not natural. My hair is electric yellow and my skin is yellow. I look like I have jaundice.
Thank y'all for watching the show.
This is Behind the Scenes. I'm the Baroness. We are on with Snuggy Pants Can't Work a Camera, and we'll see you next week.
Good night.
This has been Behind the Scenes with the Baroness and Bear Fiorda. Only on Talk 4 Media.